Darren and Gail Vinson will be here next week, and what they say, this is called the undefended heart. Paradoxically, the undefended heart opens a space for safety. It is possible to have an open heart even in the most difficult situations. We will explore in good times or bad how living from a spacious heart can offer us freedom and a deeper intimacy with all things. And the Gales will be joined by Paula Mandela and Ann Roach, so it's an evening of music, poetry, reflection, and meditation. And Cameron, I think we can turn off the promo slides. Thank you. So our guest tonight is someone that you have seen probably on Sundays. She's a national award winner for her music. She sings original music. She sings covers for rock, jazz, and pop while accompanying herself on the piano. She is a soloist here on Sundays at SLC, and she's done some special services as well. And tonight, we're going to have a conversation, and she's going to share her personal journey, both her spiritual journey and the one that she just walked through that was very difficult. And the reason she calls this night Progress is Progress, because somewhere along the way she figured out that even this much moving forward is progress. So welcome to the stage, Laurie Shiflett.
Thank you. Okay.
So, Laurie, most of the people who come up on the stage have like 60 years of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, no.
And at the same time, I know that even someone who is just starting out can end up with that much to talk about too. So let's just have a little start at the beginning. How did you find out that you had musical ability? And then we'll go into a little bit more about your spiritual upbringing, and then we'll go on from there.
Okay.
So how did you figure out that you could sing?
Actually, what first comes to mind is when I was a little girl, my dad's a musician, so it's through the blood. But he used to put me in the jogger, and he would take me out for runs and stuff, and he'd be like, "All right, we're gonna do your scales now." Da 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 da. I'd be like, "Da da 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 da," and then he's like, "Arpeggios." Did arpeggios. So he started me really, really young, and I was maybe 2, 3, and then since he noticed I had an ear, he put me into piano, and actually I started Suzuki piano lessons, which is all by ear, which kind of actually led me to have some difficulties later on in my life as a musician, because I was like, I don't have to read, I can just do it by ear. Anyways, but it was really fun. So I did Suzuki training. Then I actually started doing piano reading, and then I sang in choir in middle school and stuff. And then I said, okay, I want to learn voice like professionally, and so he put me with Julie Ann Villalobos, which is her married name now. She's a really good vocalist and good vocal teacher, and that was one of my first classical vocal teachers. But I actually worked with Santa Christian, who performed here a few months ago, and she was my first vocal teacher, and she taught me breathing exercises and rock. Continued to take vocal classes. Then I went to college, and I joined the American River Chamber Singers group and did that for a while. And then I went to vocal jazz, which totally was, that was hard. That's what made it go like, boom,
So really, you've just been doing music your whole life.
Yeah, pretty much.
So were you raised in a spiritual tradition at all?
Yes, I actually went to St. John Vianney's for preschool, I think it was, and that's Catholic, yeah. And then I actually had some learning difficulties too. I was in resource at a very young age because I had a hard time focusing in school. So then I was put into a different elementary school, which really was hard on me. During math, I wanted to draw and write songs, and got in trouble. And then I started leaving my 3rd grade class all the time to go to the park and play, and like it was bad. And when my dad found out, he's like, "Yep, we're taking you out of that school system." So then I went to Ottoman, and then I still believed in God. Like since I was a little girl, I used to write songs, and seriously, like there's this tulip tree my grandma planted in our backyard, and I used to climb up there and sing to God when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And then eventually it kind of I was confused when I was a teenager, and then it started.
I've never heard of anybody be confused as a teenager.
Getting weird? Yeah, right, I know. I was very confused. Yeah,
You're speaking spiritually.
Yeah,
Confused.
spiritually, yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, I definitely started with school, with the church, and then I think I had a lot of hard things happen in my life. It was kind of personal stuff, but it took me down a pretty dark path. And I was confused, for a while. And then, yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you didn't have that kind of thumb of your parents on you to this is your religion and you have to follow it. And
Yeah.
you didn't have that whole
I
controlling thing when it came to spirituality.
Well, I mean, my parents definitely wanted me to continue to believe, but I think I'm not a parent yet, but I think there's a point where you can only use so much to raise your kids. And the only reason why I say that now is because I see that in myself. That's the whole thing with progress is progress, because I have to take little baby steps to get where I want to go, which my parents already see, like, what I need to do, But they were sad when I said I don't really believe anymore, and I was happy with that. But I was still fluctuating, and it really got bad when my mom got sick.
Okay, so
That's where it was.
So let's talk about that
done.
for a moment, because that is critical to the rest of what
Yep.
goes on with your life. But it's
Right.
not the whole
No.
story. So
Yeah.
how old were you when your mom became ill?
That's a good question. I think, I'm 27. I was maybe 23.
Okay, so you had
Okay.
kind of already gone through this
Yeah.
sort of spiritual crisis anyway, and then your mom got really sick.
Yeah, and I was kind
So-
of like on a fine line, and then when she got sick and she wasn't getting better, it just went down,
So what was that path like as you were walking through? I mean, and again, I think this progress probably comes in. For a while, you weren't seeing any change, but
Yeah.
what was that like?
So it was hard because we prayed so much. We even had people come into the house and like sage and do prayers over her when she was laying in bed. It got to the point where we didn't think she was going to make it. And it was really scary. It was freaking me out. Because she's 5'10", and she was maybe 110 pounds. She got really sick, and we had a lot of people coming in and trying to help her, and it was all about praying and like, God will come and save you, God will come and save you. And I just slowly was like, okay, where is God? It's been 3 years, she's still sick. And then I just decided that it wasn't going to be that way and that she was probably going to die. Something happened, and it's kind of her personal story, and I don't want to share too much information, but we found something that worked. We actually figured out it was her vagus nerve has been damaged, and she started, seeking help, and we were trying different alternatives that actually worked. A little bit of Western and Eastern, I think I'm saying that right. She figured it out, and after she got better, I was kind of in shock because I was like, okay, and it was slow, it was progress, and it's progress. And then one day I was like, okay, actually then I realized maybe why it had to take so long. It's hard to explain. It's really, really deep for me, and I get emotional if I talk about it a little too much. So I eventually decided that it's okay. And then when I really decided it was okay to get back into my faith, when I joined SLC, because when Anne told me about a gig she couldn't do, it was right around the time I just started getting back into my faith. And I'll be completely honest with you, when I first had my gig here, I was not even where I'm at now. And I felt really bad. I kind of felt guilty because I'm like, all these people believe, and I'm here like singing, I kind of believe, kind of, you know, and then it's just started coming back more and more, whether I wanted it to or not. And I think it's because he's like, you sang to me in that tulip tree, you're coming back, you know, like he wanted me to come back.
So yeah, let's back up just a little tiny bit for a second.
Okay,
And
I'm a
so,
little nervous.
No, it's okay. Take a breath. This is an interview. It's not it's not a speech that we have to go line by line. So as your mom started to get better, were you having little inklings of, oh, maybe this is still out there?
Yeah,
I mean, so it
but I
was
didn't wanna
gradual.
admit it.
Well, no, of course
Yeah.
you didn't want to admit it because you were probably having fun at that point being mad at God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember, has anybody else had just fun? I'm going to be mad for a while and it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the time that your mom was significantly better
Yeah.
and the faith started coming back, what was that? How much long was that before you showed up here, before Anne invited you here? Like years, months, weeks?
Oh, no, it was definitely 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then she just started getting, better around that time.
Okay,
And so when I came here, I was still in limbo.
okay.
But when I came here, I was like, what is this place? Like, I can't believe this. This is so cool. This is everything I like, you know? It's silly. It's little things, too. Like, I'm a big incense, and I actually like to smell sage and lavender, and I like candles in the evening and have a drink and sit outside. And, it's very earthy. Like, everyone's accepted here no matter who you are, and it's so cool.
I remember your first Sunday. I remember.
Really?
Yeah, because you.
I was dressed all in black.
But I remember that you. I could tell that you just felt like an outsider. It's like, what am I
Yeah.
doing here?
Wow.
And you still rocked the house.
Oh, thanks.
Which was, but I always wonder what it's like for a musician who especially hasn't necessarily been working in spiritual music to walk into a place like this
Yeah.
and just go, hi, I'm going to sing a spiritual song for you.
Right. Yeah, no, it was, I did a little bit of youth group stuff when I was a kid too, but it wasn't anything like this, Yeah.
So what was the main thing that, what's the biggest thing about your process? I think Paula had said that you decided you really like singing the spiritual, music.
Yeah.
And what is it that's grabbed you? I mean, what's been your process? I don't know what question to ask here, but
Like, how did I finally get to the point
or
where
what does it
was
do
like,
for you, or how does it speak to you, or what's the deal?
I think I'm understanding the question. It started, I can't even explain how it happened. It kind of just happened. And I really started to realize this is such a good band. These are such good people. I like the environment. I like how I feel here. And then everything started kind of changing the more I felt better about my faith, like things outside of here, And I was like, okay, I guess this is happening without me. I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to believe. And like, I really tried to believe. It grabbed me. and then, and it's gotten to the point where I say that I believe and I have my faith and I'm very spiritual and I believe in signs, like definitely synchronicities. And I don't care if people think that's weird. You get to that point where you don't care. Because some people are like, synchronicity, come on, 11:11. I'm like, yes, 11:11 means something. Like, but you get to the point where it's just comfortable and it's real. And I think that I had to go through all of that to get where I'm at,
So you did all of that hard work pretty young in your life. So that must, see, if
There's
we're
a
looking
lot
at
of
karma, right, how much karma did she burn off in before she was, before you were 23, 24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely old soul, I think. That's what
So-
I've been told, I don't know.
Yeah, so when did you start to actually compose music?
Okay, yeah,
Were
that's
you,
a great
I know that you
question.
wrote a song while your mother was
Yeah.
ill, and I know that you're not going to. She's going to do a song, but not
is this
that
water
one.
for
But
us?
yeah, that water is for you. So, but did you start composing earlier, and then and how has that evolved, and how did it change during your mom's illness?
Yeah, gosh. I started writing maybe like 3rd or 4th grade, right around the time I didn't like math and I was leaving the school. I actually still remember the day I was in my room, and I still live there today, and writing a song, and my dad's like, "You got to do your homework," or it was something like I didn't want to go to school the next day. I just wanted to write. I cried, like I was upset. So I started writing really young, and then my songwriting, I think, just adapted with age. I actually look back in old songbooks, and I'm like, that was a good idea, but what are you talking about, So you get more clear. And also with songwriting, I've noticed I never choose something I want to write about, like ever. I just play the piano and sounds, and then I'm like, ooh, that sounds cool. And then I can only write when I'm going through stuff. Like, I've had some dry months, years maybe, no.
When your life is going really good, there's just nothing.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Like, it's weird. No, it's a trip, but yeah, that's very true. No, but it's hard to just be like, okay, I'm feeling, sad about this, or I don't know where I'm at in my life, like, and I try to write a song. I have to just feel it. Like, I've wrote a song called Fire, which is going to be part of my album that I'm working on. Which I know you haven't asked me about that yet, but that's okay.
Like I said, you can talk about. Go ahead and talk about your album.
Right? No, yeah. So, but Fire is a really good song because it's about falling into the fire and burning brighter, because fire hurts, but then when you burn, you turn into something beautiful. And I'm angry in that song. Like, it's like a dun 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 dun. It's like intense. It's very rock based. And then I wrote a song called Never Let Our Love Die, which was actually about a guy that I recently ended the relationship. It was 6 years, and also it was during my mom's illness, because to see my parents connect, it was heartbreaking. And it was about, I would write the best breakup song if we were not together, and then it's in the chorus is, let's never let our love die, I feel like the songwriting's getting better and better with the stuff I'm going through, but also age maybe. If that answers that
Well,
question.
I mean, experience says a lot, and you probably could go back to some of those other songs that you wrote and coming back with more maturity and look at them and change them and bring them, help them flower more if you ever feel like doing that, right?
Yeah, no,
Because what you know at 16 or even at 12, just the life experience.
Yeah.
It changes you.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree.
And it expands you somehow or another, even though it hurts.
Yeah, no, it does. I'm like, during my mom's illness, I wrote a lot of sad songs. Like, there's a song that's called Hello, and it's about, like, hello, are you up there? Been praying for you. Where are you? And then when she started getting better, I actually think the song I'm playing tonight is a huge part of that, about finding the faith again. It's called In My Soul. So it's, feeling where are you, and writing about it, and there's a lyric in there, it's like, I have something to share and offer, and everybody feels this way, I really try when I write songs to that it's going to reach an audience that understands,
Would you like to go ahead and do that song now?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Okay. That was a good segue. Okay.
I wait for the day, I wait for the night, but nothing I do seems to turn out right. I won't give up, I won't give in. This moment I'm living for is deep within. In my soul, I will be me. In my soul, I will be set free. I will be set free. He has a plan for me. I better take action so I can see. I know what I want and I know what I have to share. Deep in my soul, I can be anywhere. In my soul, I will be me. And in my soul, I will be set free. I will be set free. I will be me. And in my soul, I will be set free. I will be set free. In my soul, I will be me. And in my soul, I will be set free. I will be set free. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm like,
So take a breath.
I know.
It's only a stage. You get up there and you do the most amazing. Okay, so think
Adrenaline is healthy.
about this. She gets up here and she does this amazing music and these amazing songs, and then sitting and having a conversation freaks her out.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I will tell you that if I had to stand up and sing, I would be freaked out. So it all comes, around. So I was thinking about during this song, because those of you who know me, I think about odd stuff, is that Gary Simmons was telling us that there was a person in his congregation. The man he's 28 years old, and he said to Gary, he said, I'm 28 years old. I have a house, I have a job, and I have 2 children, and all of you treat me like I'm a little kid. And as you were singing this song, there's part of me's going, she's in her 20s. Why does her soul need to be set free? And I think, and we do this, and so, young people looking at us older people and vice versa, we're looking at each other, it's like, well, you either shouldn't be there yet or you should have gotten over it already. Right? So, I mean, what do you, and I'm not even sure where this question is coming from, but so your experience of coming into a church that is primarily, I mean, we do have younger people, but we are an older congregation. What's that like for you? Do you feel like you're treated like a little kid, or do you get respect? What is your experience? And I'm not.
No, that's a good question.
Because the truth is we all have similar experiences, but we view them from different points in age. I think that's the question.
Well, that's a weird thing. It's like yes and no, because to be honest, most of my friends are in their 50s.
Okay.
I swear. I have a lot of older friends. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, sometimes yes, I feel that way, but I don't at the same time. It's a really hard question, because it all depends on the person.
Do you? Right, it would, but it's like part of my brain is going. I mean, I know you've been through stuff, but at the same time, what? She's so young and free, and she's worried about her soul being free, And then you can look at me and go, man, you should be over that by now, and I'm still working on it too. And how, right? Does this make, does anybody make, does this make sense to anybody? No.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's what you got from the song. It's more for me like, I got to feel myself more and be in tune with myself more in order to feel, you know, good and free. Like I wait for the day, wait for the night. Nothing I do is, you know, right. I'm, you know, going through life and stuff. But as long as I let myself be who I am and my soul, really feel my soul, then I'll be set free. I'll be able to have an easier time maybe trying to accomplish those things. And then like the second verse, you know, he has a plan for me. I better take action though so I can see what he has for me. Because it's not just like, okay, God's got me, I'm good. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and watch Netflix all day. Like, I'm good. You know, no.
I mean, we all do know that God did create Netflix, but we have to do something else. That's very true.
Thank you, God, for Netflix. Thank you. But, you know, and then the other part is about my music. After that, it goes, I know what I want and I know what I have to share. So as long as I'm in my soul, I could be anywhere, you know, as long as I embrace myself. And because sometimes we think like, oh, maybe I'm, you know, maybe people are judging me for what I said or what I do. Or sometimes I can even feel, and I know we've all been here, like maybe I'm being too cocky or like, I don't know. I want to make sure I approach it the right way. But it's good to be with yourself. It's good to love yourself. And you can love yourself in a non-egotistical way as well, which is something I'm trying to learn.
That healthy,
like, not that I'm that way, but I don't ever want to come off that way, ever.
That healthy ego.
Yeah, it's important, you know, to love yourself. Love yourself. It's a really important thing to do. Like, it is.
and so what we get from this is this whole idea of being able to love ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are is a lifelong journey.
Yes, and that's where I've learned the progress is progress comes into play. You know, I'm always trying to complete something full or a song, or I have, you know, chronic illness. I've had it for 10 years in my legs, and I can't work out. No, you can work out. You can do floor mats. You can, you know, lift weights at the gym, little baby steps at a time. I mean, I'm lifting like maybe 5 pounds with my legs. I'm not even, you know, doing squats with weight, because if I do, I'll fall to the floor screaming. So I have to slowly, over the last 10 years, I got surgery, and it's probably not going to be fixed that way, but I'm not giving up. You know, I'm just going to progress, like little baby steps at a time. I will definitely figure out what's wrong, even if I'm 60. And I'm like, hey, by the way, that feet thing I had for like that many years is good. So I'm going to go hike the Grand Canyon again. You know, I did that before this, but anyways.
And you have, and still with all of the challenges, you have this full life with your music and your friends and whatever. Do you prefer to sing solo, or do you like collaborating with people?
Oh, I love collaborating. It's so fun. I do. I like both.
Because you and Ann have really got a thing going now.
Oh, yeah.
You really.
Yeah. It's trippy when we're singing and Steele and Dan together. We sometimes sound the same person, or I'll be soprano on a gig and I'll have an alto singing with me and listen back to recordings, and I'm making dinner or something. I was, is that Ann? Oh, that's me. You know, like we've sang so much now, and we're also natural sopranos. That's a whole other thing, that our tone is very similar. But my range is huge. I mean, I'm like alto to soprano now because I've worked a long time on it. So I don't really classify myself in a section, and I don't think I'm teaching voice now, which is awesome. It's like a new thing. I'm so excited. It's really fun. It's so fun being a teacher. I love it. But I've learned to not. I had my student was like, do you think I'm an alto? And I'm like, let's not choose that yet. Like, you can be this if you want, you know. You have to practice every day, and your range can be really big. But there's always a natural inclination of like what we have, you know. But going back to Ann, it's great. We sound good together. I love working with her. I feel like we sound good together. I already said that. Yep.
I mean, so yeah, there are some moments when the two, I mean, and there's moments when you're up there by yourself and she's up there by herself, and there's those moments when you're together. It's just, and of course we just know that Paula comes along and helps put together such an amazing program.
Paula's, she's awesome.
Yeah, but I have to say that's a real mark of maturity, to be able to tell somebody, you know, don't pin yourself in. Don't box yourself into this.
Yeah.
Don't box yourself in.
Yeah.
You know, like ever. Not yet, but don't box yourself
Yeah,
in
no,
ever.
it's super important. It took me a while to learn that too.
But it sounds like your father really helped you.
Yeah.
Just gave you the space to expand and explore.
Yes.
And then cutting school always helps too.
Right. No, it's great.
But you did
He
manage. Did
was
you manage
mad.
to get through high school?
I did, but it was hard though. So I had to be in resource, and I even think that's why I understand certain things now with different people, because I had friends with Asperger's and autism, and I was friends with people that were picked on a lot, and just because they were different. And I mean, I was not popular in high school at all. I know it's weird to think that now. I'm so popular now. No, but like I wasn't. And then my senior year, I told my parents I don't want to be in the resource classes anymore because you get picked on a lot. And I was ready, and I did it. And I was really proud of myself. And it was really hard. And college was really hard too sometimes. But I managed to try to do things on my own. But I have a little bit of a learning disability actually. Like I don't want to say I've been diagnosed with it, but like I have since a kid.
Probably just enough to cause you problem, but not so much that people.
I just want to create. That's all I want to do, and I think I was like that coming out, and like, and I think because I was so into that, I held myself behind. I didn't have the correct teachers to like, hey, you need to go this way, and my parents did everything they could. They got me tutors. It was, and my dad will be the first one to tell anyone like, hey, this is how she is. I don't read music. I mean, I kind of read music, but I remember everything in my head. That's how I do music, and I love it, and it's hard. Like, I'm doing a winery gig this month, and I have to learn 2 hours of music in here. It's really hard, but...
Well, you have a few years where you'll be able to do that, and maybe the day will come.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's the thing is, in college, I took all the way up to Theory 4, but there's just something that didn't click. And
Did you major in music?
So I want to say yes so bad. I have one more class, so Theory 4 I didn't pass because it was around a really hard time when my mom was sick. It was right around that time. And I was just really upset. I mean, I was kind of partying a lot too.
Yeah.
And
But you were a music student. I mean,
yes,
okay.
I can go back and take that one class and then maybe take a few more to teach. I think I'm going to do that, actually. I'm excited about it.
That would be very, because it sounds like you would be a natural teacher.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
So, any questions? Oh, okay. As we get into this, would you please wait for Jeannie to come with the microphone, because the people who are some of the people in the room won't be able to hear you, and certainly the people listening, streaming. So please wait, raise your hand and wait for the magic Jeannie to bring it to you.
Oh, nice.
And I think you had your hand back there. Yeah.
That was good. Magic Genie. I could do a cover song.
Hi. I just wanted to say I did get the meaning of I'm glad you explained it, because that's how I took it in.
Oh.
Your song.
Oh, thank
your
you.
soul. Anyway, the other thing was, how did you meet Anne?
Oh.
Were you guys doing a gig?
Yeah, so a long time ago, I think I was like 18, 19.
Oh.
I sang Steelin' Dan with Julie Ann Miller, and she was the soprano. But I wasn't cutting it then because I was a classical voice person, and you can't sing jazz like that. So long story short, I came back into the band because I started doing jazz, and so my dad and her are really good friends, and my dad knows Steve, and because Steve teaches and my dad teaches at City College, so
Cool.
yeah, I think that's how they know each other.
Okay.
But yeah, I've known Anne for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
It's not a question,
Oh.
but I was thinking about her first Sunday, and my daughter came with me, and I think Ann's name was on the program because there was some people behind us said, "Oh no, Ann's not here," or something like that. And
That's
so
okay.
then after you sang,
Yeah.
they go, "How do you like her now?"
That's so funny, really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, yeah. That's so cool. Wow, that's cool.
Surely you all have more questions for her.
Yeah, it could be anything, like what's my favorite color, you know? It's purple.
Her
I love
favorite,
purple.
you
And
say-
black,
yeah,
actually.
Purple is her favorite. Purple and black.
Yeah, I like black a
Better
lot.
than black and white.
Black goes with everything.
You know, you mentioned a kind of a gradual path when your mom's illness was getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
Was there any experience that you had was defining during that period that you know, oh, I have had a shift in mind about it all, or is it so gradual you didn't notice?
It was, oh, you mean with the
So as you were going through that shift, was
Mm-hmm.
was there a specific moment where you went, oh, it's not so bad, or was it gradual? Was it so gradual that you really didn't notice that you were starting to come up out of?
Yeah,
I think,
'cause
it
a lot,
was,
some of
I
us
think it
had
was more gradual because when she got better, I still was like, no, I'm good, you know. After that, no way. And because then she got better, and maybe I was worried she was gonna get sick again. I don't know. It was gradual, I think.
So your trust in higher powers, so to speak, was pretty dampened at that point.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't have a lot of trust.
Yeah, and I was really sad too. I mean, I'm sad. You know, we all have our moments of sadness, but less sad now when you're sad. It's weird when you believe, you know. So, any other questions?
Well, you're probably not going to like this question.
Okay.
I loved your song. I loved how the harmonies created interesting chords.
Thanks.
You know, really,
Thanks.
you know.
No, yeah.
It makes me really want to hear Fire, but you sound like you don't. Yeah, when I look at that expression on your face right now, I'm thinking, you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I can. It's just I can't remember the bridge, and I've been playing. I'm getting ready for this winery gig, and I'm doing a lot of covers like Landslide, Billy Joel, Just the Way You Are, and other things right now. So I have that pretty solid. But Fire has a ton of tracks like going on. It's it would be hard to do it and give it and serve it its justice of the song. But if you go on my website, you
could
can
fake
hear
it,
a little
couldn't
bit
you?
of it.
We will have her do another song, but probably
Yeah.
not that one.
Okay.
But if you go on my website, just lareemusic.com, you can hear Part of Fire. And then you'll be like, oh. I mean, there's
Pot
just...
of Fire?
You can hear a part of it. I
Oh,
don't have the
okay.
full song. But, I mean, there's bells and, like, big, symphony
Okay,
stuff going
got it,
on because
yeah.
the arranger did all of that.
When
Who's
is
Timothy Drury,
when
by
is
the way.
the album coming out? Do you know yet?
So that's the thing. So I'm working with Timothy Drury, who's a renowned musician, an artist. He actually played with the Eagles, and he's still playing with an Eagles member, Don Felder. He also played with Don Henley and Stevie Nicks, and my dad and him were friends when they were growing up, and he just made it to the big times, and he is awesome. He's like my uncle. I'm so blessed to be doing this album for a good... it's kind of for free, but we're gonna give him money and stuff, but it's a homie hookup. He's doing a fantastic job. He's awesome. So the album is taking a long time because he's a touring musician. So, I mean, we've been working on this album for maybe 4 years now. And I'm going to see him next week on Monday through Wednesday to record the next 4 tunes, maybe that one, and then a new one that I wrote. Because I had to write the best breakup song. Because I did that, and it's a good song.
All right then.
I mean, I could play that one.
Gigi.
There are all kinds of singers in this world, but there are special singers that evoke a feeling when you hear them. because they tell a story, and I get that you're a storyteller,
Yeah.
and you have a soul singer, and I don't mean soul music, but you're a soul singer. Does that also translate into acting? Because I could see you easily transitioning and doing both, like,
Yeah.
musical theater, or not so much musical theater, but a one-woman show
Yeah.
where you detail your life and, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think musicians are definitely actors. There's a part of me where I feel it. Like, I was a little nervous up there, so I'm like, okay, just feel it. And then that part of me is natural. But there's also, you watch yourself. Like, I watch myself in the mirror play a lot to make sure I'm not just singing like this the whole time. I'm getting into it, and because you have to act, But it's not like, oh, I love doing this type of act, Yeah, definitely.
That's what's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Loree, did you talk about wanting to teach
Yeah.
music? Are you planning to do that?
So I'm
or-
teaching voice right now, and I'm loving it. So I'm gonna see where that takes me, and then if I really do want to teach, which is so funny because that's what my dad's doing, and he didn't want to do it when he was my age. He's like, I don't want to teach, and then he fell in love with it. Now he's a teacher of music. He's a professor actually. So I mean, I might want to follow in those footsteps. That'd be cool. He'd be proud.
So would you like to do Landslide for us?
Yeah, sure. Okay, all right. Sure, I'll do the landslide. Let's see. Hopefully I don't mess up the words. I'm usually looking at the words on my phone, but I'll just wing it. If you guys are like, that's not the right verse, just you sing it. No. All right, give me 1 second here. Okay. Oops.
Took my love, took it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide brought it down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, the landslide brought it down. Oh, the landslide brought it down. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Marie Shiflett.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so we come to the end of a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming
no,
and
thank
doing
you
this.
so much.
It's
This has
nice to
been
see
great.
some new faces, young faces in this crowd.
Yeah.
So if you want to, you can stay up here, or you can go.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is the time where we travel into our love offering, and we all know that the sharing and the circulation is what keeps us all going, whether it's this community or our own lives. It's the give and the take and the just passing it around and opening your heart that really keeps us in the pocket of love. So let's take our love offering and hold it and say our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pouring down, your love is pouring down. Your love is pouring down. Your love is pouring down. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's been an amazing evening. Let's stand and hold hands and get connected as we can get connected and do our prayer for protection together. Okay. I'll get there in a second. All right. There we go. Okay, so isn't this more fun than trying to make a perfect circle? So let's all take a deep breath. Let it go. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And may the joys of the world go with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.